what else do I like that's out right now?
What do you think of dubstep?
Yeah.
It has yet to find its own voice yet.
Well, there's not really any lyrics,
There are
so
not.
there's no voice.
Yeah, but you see, what does that make? Well, that makes the music even more abstract, because any message that comes across, I don't know how often you listen to purely instrumental music of any kind, do you?
Not really.
So when I study, I listen to classical music, but that's...
Really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
well, I think that's fine. You listen to a Mozart symphony, exactly what do you get out of it, right? And I think the answer is something very different from a Wagner opera. Right? Or you take a Mozart opera and a Mozart symphony, or a string quartet, or whatever you want. Or a Mozart song, a Mozart string quartet. Let's get out of the huge proportions. And you do listen to them in different ways. Actually, if you were still high school students, but both male, you'd be saying, I listen to a lot of instrumental music, because you're listening to dubstep, or you're listening to metal, or you're listening to death metal, or blackened death metal, or blackened Swedish death metal, or whatever it is. But you're listening to a lot of instrumental, or predominantly instrumental music, and that's been the case since I was a teenager, and even before then. I think that's a gender difference, or it's a way we raise our genderized children. It's I think I wandered again. I think dubstep got a ways to go. It's a music really written. Just have a great time too.
Yeah.
It's usually associated with clubbing, with raving. Okay. I just played a rave. I mean, it's
What part of the were you what was your experience in the 60s? Were you the Summer of Love? Were you in the hippies?
So you were a surfer.
Yeah, where
well, that
did
was
you...
back in the early 60s. That all changed. By the time I graduated college in 1969, I was pretty straight looking. I was getting ready to go to graduate school at Yale. Things changed. That was after the Summer of Love. I went to Yale in '69, the summer of '69. But that wasn't the Summer of Love there. The summer of '70 was, the spring of '70 was the Black Panther trials, the Bobby Seale trials with the New Haven Nine. It was terrifying. I went to graduate school having to walk around with machine gun embankments. I hope you don't have to do that. There is a concept that, you asked me what I was. There was by the time it's 1971, I'm graduating from Yale, I'm flying my freak flag and looking pretty grungy by today's standards, I guess. I could show you some pictures of me performing right alongside the Grateful Dead or whatever in the Panhandle. That's part of the Golden Gate Park that runs out by Oak Street there in San Francisco. I lived in San Francisco briefly in the summer of '69, and then returned there in '73 for another year. My parents thought I was a hippie. I guess I was. So I have some direct experience there. And this, you have to understand that there was a Summer of Love, but there were also two summers of fire. And that would be '67 and '68, when America's poor chose the radical solution of burning the ghettos in which they lived. And that repeated itself in '76. The two big summers were the summers of fire. I urge you to research that. We don't teach that too much, and we should. Because yes, the Summer of Love is a nice thing, and we all go to Woodstock and drop some LSD. Forgive me if I just said something I shouldn't have said.
No, we study that too.
Okay, fine. But I got to tell you, expanding consciousness, what a pile of crap. take drugs to get high. I do not condone it. Every culture invents their drugs, whatever they are. So that tells me that humans have a complex relationship with reality. And I'm not trying to excuse anything or to condemn anything. I said condone. I don't personally condone it. Yes, dubstep is associated with raves and drugs. I just played Burning Man in Philadelphia. That's 10,000 people at a rave. And my band is called Vinyl Life. It's a live deep house band. Yeah, I'm 65 and I play deep house. Wow. We went on, we had 2 sets. Our first one was at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the next one was at 7 o'clock in the morning. And it was going strong. I'm not going to tell you that all 10,000 members there were straight. I was. Always have been. But neither were they all tripped out of their minds. So I don't know. In all honesty, if you go out to listen to some jazz at the Blue Note, you probably sit down, you pay the $50 cover charge, and you probably nurse a couple of beers all night long if you're on my budget, or maybe you have 2 or 3 martinis if you're wealthy. But isn't that just taking the edge off in a different way?